They say betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from family. But nothing prepared me for the moment I stood frozen in the back of the church, clutching my daughter's tiny hand, as my ex-husband, now marrying my younger sister, looked her in the eyes and said, "She's not the one I was supposed to marry." My heart stopped. The music halted. Every guest turned their head. And in that moment, I knew justice was mine. This is the story of how my sister stole the man I built a life with, and how he unknowingly gave me the perfect moment to take everything back. My name is Camille, and, for most of my 20s, I thought I had it all. A husband who brought me roses on Fridays, a cozy home outside Seattle, and a little girl who looked at me like I held the stars. Jason and I met in college. He wasn't flashy, not the type you'd notice right away. But he was steady, solid, and after a string of heartbreaks, that was what I wanted. We got married at 25, bought our first home by 27, had our daughter, Lily, by 20-9, and by 30, I started to feel like something was missing. Jason began working late more often. At first, I blamed the economy, then stress, then myself. I'd catch him staring blankly at his phone at night. Silent texts, locked screens. "Who are you always talking to?" I asked once, half joking. "Work stuff," he muttered. "You wouldn't understand." It wasn't until Christmas that I truly felt something shift. He didn't get me a gift that year, not even a card. But I found a crumpled Nordstrom receipt for a perfume I'd never worn. The scent, the exact one my sister wears. My sister, Betrayal, was always the pretty one. 3 years younger. A dancer, lived off charm and chaos. The kind of woman people gave free drinks to, just for smiling. We were close growing up, or so I thought. But looking back now, I see the cracks. She borrowed my clothes without asking. Dated my high school crush. Somehow, always ended up in the spotlight, even when it was supposed to be my moment, but I never imagined she'd go after my husband. Until I walked in on them, not in bed, no. That would have almost been easier. It was 10:30 p.m. I had come home early from my book club, and the living room was dim. There they sat, Jason on the couch, Betrayal curled next to him, laughing. His hand brushed her knee like it was second nature. Neither of them noticed me. I stood there for nearly a full minute. Frozen. When Betrayal finally looked up, she didn't even flinch. She just said, cool as a glacier, "You're home early." No shame, no guilt, nothing. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just turned around and left. 3 weeks later, Jason moved out Betrayal, and I didn't mean for this to happen. He said, "Right. Just like hurricanes don't mean to destroy homes." I could have begged. I could have screamed. But instead, I nodded and handed him a manila folder. It was the divorce papers. He looked shocked. "You already?" "I figured this is what you wanted," I said. "Let's not drag it out." I didn't fight for alimony. I didn't ask for the house. I just took my daughter and left the rest behind, because I had a plan. For the next year, I rebuilt myself. Quietly, slowly, I moved in with a friend, found freelance work, and poured my heart into my daughter. I also started therapy, something I should have done long ago. I stopped checking Betrayal's Instagram. I stopped listening when mutual friends tried to update me. But one thing reached me. Anyway, they were engaged. Jason had proposed to her on a trip to Napa, same resort we went to for our 5th anniversary, and the wedding. It was set for next fall in the exact same church we got married in. The same church. I could have ignored it, could have let it go, but something inside me snapped. Because sometimes, karma needs a little help. 6 weeks before the wedding, I received a formal invitation. White calligraphy on a cream card. "Join us as we unite in love, Jason and Betrayal." Lily was listed as the flower girl. They hadn't even asked me. I texted Jason, "You expect our daughter to be in your wedding without my consent?" He replied, "Don't be dramatic. This is about family. She loves Betrayal." I stared at that message for a long time. I could have said no, but instead, I said yes, because now, I had the perfect stage. 3 nights before the wedding, my phone rang. It was Jason's best man, Nate, a quiet, honest guy who'd always been uncomfortable around Betrayal. "Camille," he said, hesitating. I thought, "You should know something." Apparently, Jason had been acting strange, drinking more, snapping at everyone, talking about me in ways he shouldn't. "He told me last night that he misses you," Nate said. "Excuse me?" he said. "He thinks he made a mistake." I nearly dropped the phone. "But he's still going through with it," Nate added. "He thinks it's too late." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Because that was the crack I'd been waiting for. The church was packed. Betrayal wore white, of course, she did. A lacy, over-the-top gown with a sheer back that screamed, "Look at me." Jason stood at the altar, visibly tense. Lily, my daughter, walked down the aisle holding her flower basket. She looked adorable and unsure. I stepped in just as the ceremony began. Whispers rippled down the pews. Betrayal's smile faded when she saw me. But Jason. His eyes widened, his jaw clenched, and for a split second, I saw something else in his face. Guilt. The officiant asked him to say his vows. He cleared his throat, hands shaking. I want to thank everyone for coming. I know, this day is supposed to be about joy. About new beginnings. He looked at Betrayal, then at the crowd. Then, right at me. But before I say these vows, I have to tell the truth. The room went silent. Because she's not the one I was supposed to marry. Gasps, audible gasps. Betrayal's face twisted into something primal. Jason continued, voice cracking. I made a mistake, a huge one, and I thought I could live with it, but I can't. I hurt someone I loved, someone who gave me everything. And instead of making things right, I ran to comfort, to familiarity, and to someone who always wanted what wasn't hers. Betrayal lunged for him. You're humiliating me. She screamed. The officiant froze. Guests began murmuring. I stepped forward, slowly, and I said, loud and clear, this is what betrayal looks like. I turned to Betrayal. You didn't just steal a man, you stole memories, a future, a family. And now, you don't even get to keep the lie. Then I looked at Jason. You said I deserved better. You were right. And today, I'm finally getting it. And with that, I walked out. The wedding was cancelled. Betrayal tried to spin the story online, said Jason had a mental break. But too many people had been there. Too many had seen the truth. Jason tried to reach out. Sent long texts. Apologies. Can we talk? I never responded, because I wasn't interested in reopening wounds, just so he could feel better about himself. I wasn't interested in giving either of them the satisfaction of my forgiveness. Instead, I focused on Lily, on healing, on building a life that was mine. And as for revenge, I didn't need to slash tires or scream in public. I let their choices unravel them. Betrayal lost her shot at the spotlight. Jason lost the illusion of control. And me. I walked away with my head high, my heart intact, and my dignity shining. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't fire or fury. Sometimes, it's showing up calm, unbothered, and watching the truth burn everything down without you lifting a finger. Because when someone steals your life, and then hands it back broken, you don't glue it together. You build something entirely new, and you make sure they watch you thrive. Camille.